Bullying Prevention Awareness Month, and during this time, we're all asked to come together as a community to prevent bullying in all of its forms. So here with information on how to spot bullying and how to prevent it is educator, and we know you as author as well, children's author, Melissa Williams. You also hold a master's degree in counseling.
Which definitely works with the writing component and being in the schools with the kids, yes.
So first of all, how do we spot this? We perhaps know that I'm thinking, your child comes home acting a little differently, but how do we zero in on what's going on?
Right, and awareness is key. And, bullying has always been around. It's just much easier to do now, and it's easier to learn the behaviors. So going back and seeing what has the child been exposed to, for instance, with social media and the violence on TV and in video games, what's going in and what they're seeing will come out in a behavior, because so much of what the child experiences, it's learned.
And we often think of ourselves as looking for our child to be the victim. How do you zero in on behavior that might mean your child is the bully?
Exactly. How are the communication patterns being formed? A child, especially in the adolescent years, they're learning their personality. They're setting up their personality through experiences and their perceptions of what they see. So as adults, we may be actually bullying in a very slight way, but the child picks up on it as it's okay.
In addition to the parent-child relationship, what about the relationship between siblings? I know that often you see siblings kind of beating up on each other.
Right.
How do you know whether or not that is translating in how they're treating their peers at school or in the neighborhood?
Well, there's got to be some intervention that takes place as the adult, as the mentor. If we see that that's happening, having the communication with the child and seeing if it is affecting them at all, because some children, that may not affect them, but for others, they're building a whole other type of perception, and that perception is the way they're going to view the world as they're making connections.
So a lot of what you've talked about today is having communication with your child. How do we build that? If we feel like, okay, we don't have great communication, what are some basic tips for how to build that slowly?
So one thing that I really like to do with the writing component, because writing and journaling has always been a therapeutic tool to use, if you can do some type of writing exercise, you and your child may be doing letter writing back and forth to one another. I've just noticed in the past few years, recently, so many kids, especially in middle school, a lot of their writing, the foundation, you see bullying happening in the writing, you see violence coming out of the writing, and that's just them being creative. So now their creative patterns are based on these things that they're picking up on that we may not have known about, but through the writing we can see.
And you believe just 15 minutes a day can help with all of this?
Absolutely. It sets a pattern and a habit.
Melissa, thank you so much for coming in today. And you can head to Melissa's website. It's melissamwilliamsauthor.com for more lessons and articles, as well as more information about her work and writing workshops.